Good evening, everybody. This is Eagles pregame show. Jimmy Rodweller, Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer will be here. Evan Taylor at the stadium. Here we go.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck like he forced his game and he stink!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Sports Sounds, exclusively here on A2D Radio. Earlier start time today as we are pre-gaming, bridging the way to the guys to do a live reaction show as the Eagles take on the Vikings in this 2022 home opener at Lincoln Financial Field, Monday Night Football. A lot to look forward to tonight. We'll be discussing everything, if anything, about the game. Any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you bring them up in the chat. We're always brought to you by Public Araya. Justin, do you have damage to your home or property? We may be able to help. Don't fight your homeowner's insurance alone. Contact Araya Public Adjusting at 813-564-3364. They are licensed in 13 states, so make sure you check them out today. We have a lot to get into wherever you're watching us: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. If you're listening to us through podcasts, make sure you like and subscribe. Whatever platform you're on, we're there. Help out the algorithm, as Tommy Arnaud would like to say. And let's get right into it tonight. Poll of the day brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Poll question of the day: the Eagles will beat the Vikings tonight on Monday Night Football. Agree or disagree to the poll? I'm going to full-on agree. I think they cover the 2.5 or whatever it is right now. If I had more money than I do right now, I would put a decent amount on maybe an alternate line, maybe go 5.5. I think we win by at least 6. I think our offense is just prolific. I think A.J. Brown has changed the culture of this team when it comes to pure X's and O's. I think Jalen Hurts has his security blanket, just like Tua did last year with Jalen Waddle. Now Tua does it with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think this just makes Jalen Hurts better, and it's simple math. You give me an average quarterback with excellent weapons, that's the recipe to a great football team. That's the recipe to a great offense, and I don't see anything special with this Vikings defense, at least not yet. Their linebackers are aging. Their front four is not as good as our front four, and I know our front four had a lot of trouble last week, but I still think our front four is better than their front four. Our offensive line's way better than their defensive line, and their secondary is aging. And that leads me to believe that the Eagles will win by at least 6 points tonight. What do you think, Rob?
At least 6 points. I don't know. I guess I'm not as confident as you. I do think they're going to win the football game. They're at home. I think they have a better offensive line, at least, than the Vikings. I picked 31-30 on our little graphic that our social media people put out. So that's a win. That's not a cover. I'm sure that's an over. Yes. I think there's going to be a lot of points. Which defense is going to show up? Is this going to be the defense that showed up and let up $150 to DeAndre Swift on the ground and opens things up for passing games? Or can we tighten it up a little bit, get some pressure, fill gaps, make tackles, and make Kirk Cousins beat you? Because his record is horrendous on Monday Night Football. They have tremendous weapons over there, but the Eagles have a good secondary. Bradbury, Slay, Epps, they should be up to the task. I don't think there's many corners that are better than Darius Slay. There's not many receivers better than Justin Jefferson. There's not many corners better than Slay. Jefferson's probably going to get his at some point, but It's all about the run defense. It's all about the run defense tonight. And can this front four that you just touted as better than the Minnesota Vikings, which I'm not sure about yet, are you going to be able to get home? I don't care about hurries. I don't care about hurries tonight on Monday Night Football, home opener. I need you to bury Kirk Cousins in the turf early and often and make him think about it every time he wants to drop back and hit Justin Jefferson for a big play. So I do have them winning. I'm not as confident as Jimmy here, but if you want to win 11, 12 games in this league, these are the types of games you had to win. I think we're going to look back on that Detroit game. Detroit gets a win yesterday over the Commanders. I think we're going to look back at that Detroit game in 4, 5, 6 weeks and be like, okay, that was a good win. That's a pretty good football team up there in Detroit. That was a good win on the road. And now's your chance to get another one.
Yeah.
Giants won yesterday. Cowboys won yesterday. Cowboys and Giants play each other in our slot on Monday night. That should be fun. Two enemies of the state going at it. Brad will be excited, but that all of a sudden becomes a big game. So you got to keep piling up wins because I know everyone wants to say, oh, on paper, the Eagles should walk. Well, game's not played on paper. So you got to keep pace with the New York Football Giants and potentially the Dallas Cowboys for this division. I think this game has a huge tie-breaking implication as we move throughout the season when you get the seeding, potentially wild cards in the NFC to this game. So I'm going to say it's a must-win in week 2, but this is a big football game. This is a really big football game. And I need that defense to be a lot better than they were last week. And I'm willing to give them a pass for last week if you come out and do your job tonight. So, yes, I have a win. It's going to be a dogfight. It's a huge game this early in the year. Really a huge game.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And you mapped out a lot of great points. You said 31-30. I think in my graphic, I said 38-27. I just look at what we did last week in week 1. The Lions were more prepared than us. They were more physical than us, and they outclassed us when it came to play calling offense versus defense, in the Lions' perspective. And even with all that, I think Jared Goff had less than 100 passing yards going into the fourth quarter. There was a point in time where going through the first and second quarter where they had 4 straight 3-and-outs. This Eagles team looked very, very good. And that's because the players are just that much more talented than the Lions players. And we saw that the Lions are a legitimate football team as of yesterday. I mean, a team just doesn't walk into 35-plus points in 2 straight weeks to open up a season. They just don't. They have a very talented offense. And the Eagles essentially shut them down in week 1 with very to little game film on them because it was week 1. So with that being said, everybody was shitting on the defense from last week. I still think that our defense played better than what people were saying. I mean, you had a 17-point lead with, I think, 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and nobody really likes our defensive coordinator here in the city, and he proved it last week when he played that soft zone. I mean, they were expecting pass, and they were getting gashed on the run. I mean, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, just going through the gaps all game long.
And, Jimmy, Derek Barnett is obviously out for the season. He tore his ACL. What's Gannon? I mean, that's a starter. Say what you will about Derek Barnett. This guy's been a starter for this team for pretty much since he came into the league.
Yeah.
You're down a starter on your defensive line. So how is Jonathan Gannon going to adjust? Are you going to put Hassan Reddick where he should be at defensive end so he can just flat rush the passer and give him to Kobe Dean the snaps he should? Obviously, Jordan Davis being in there is going to help your run defense.
Yeah.
Do you kick Hargrave or Cox out to an end and let Jordan Davis go eat in the middle? I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff to keep your eyes on.
Well, I've never seen anything like this, and it's been phenomenal. Just fascinating in a way. Me and Evan have been mapping this out since the beginning of last year when Jonathan Gannon made his debut. We still don't know what this guy's defensive scheme is. We don't know what his base defense is. We don't know what his overall scheme is. It's just unbelievable to see. I really don't know how offenses map it out on a week-to-week basis because it's the most basic defense I've ever seen in my this was the defense we were doing in high school. The way that what Jonathan Gannon has showed us in 20 plus games. Is this going to be the week? Is this going to be the season where he shows his identity? I mean, I know every single week he's been progressing. He's been doing the blitzes that people have wanted to do. We've moved from a 3-4 to a 4-3 in different situations. You've had 5 defensive linemen out on the field. That's when Jordan Davis is playing strictly nose tackle. And when he's in and playing nose tackle for 22 snaps, Detroit was only averaging 2 yards per carry. And then when he was off the field, they were averaging 10 yards per carry. It's just that's a fascinating stat that I saw. And you kind of saw it even during the game. I mean, I like to watch with my eyes. I don't really like to look at the stats. I like to look at the game and then look at the stats and see if they go hand in hand. I mean, that's what I see from Alan Salt's comment. 3 consecutive 70-plus yard drives. But you got to look at it this way. Those 3 drives that the Lions did, the Eagles were up double digits in, 2 of those drives? So, and that's mid to late fourth quarter. Like, that's what teams do nowadays. You saw it with the Rams last night when they were up by a mile against the Falcons. The Falcons end up making it a 4-point game. The Raiders end up blowing a 23-7 lead. The Browns end up blowing a lead to the Jets. Like, all of these teams in the NFL nowadays, they go off the analytics. They play the soft zone. That's how Dak Prescott got paid all that money. He would go down early in big games, and then he'd come back and get his stats. And then he'd lose these 6-point games. He'd lose these 3-point games. Sometimes he'd win them because of the soft zones. I'm not going to base this defense off of getting thrashed because they were playing a soft zone for the last 15 minutes of a game, 18 minutes of a game. I'm not going to let that taint the actual reality of the fact that they shut down a pretty prolific offense in the first quarter, second quarter of an opening week. And I think the Lions are just going to go up from here. And that's what leads me to believe that this defense is better than what we see. And that's even with Jonathan Gannon holding them back in a way because he doesn't have a scheme. We just have that much talent. That's what I see.
I mean, okay, but where do you draw the line? Like, where do you draw the line between,
when you blow a lead,
playing
when
the
you
analytics,
actually blow the lead,
when you actually blow the lead? So everything's fine until you're losing the game and lose the football game.
I mean, that's what the Rays did in 2020.
I'm asking.
Right?
I don't know where the line is. Clearly, the NFL agrees with that narrative that it's not really a big deal unless you blow the lead and lose the football game. Me, obviously, sitting on my couch, I want to see blood in the water. I see blood in the water, and I want to attack. So if I'm down 17, I'm trying to find a way to get a stop and go up 24. Or up 17, and I'm trying to go up 24. I'm not sitting back and letting them 17. I mean, yeah, that sounds like a lot, but we saw it in how many games yesterday where in today's NFL, it's not really a lot. The Browns blew a lead. The Ravens blew a big lead.
Yeah.
The Rams flirted with disaster against the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like I'm missing one that was a lead that was bad. Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona
and
or
Vegas. I mean, So it sounds really sexy. Oh, you were up 17 and blew a lead. Your defense sucks, but it's happening all around the league.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to just get in these soft shells and play the analytics, and it's fine until you're losing. So I guess the Eagles didn't lose, so there's no panic amongst the organization. Meanwhile, the fans are freaking out and want Gannon out after one game, which I can't get behind that. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting because Minnesota's going to get their points. Mm-hmm. I don't care how many good players. You could make a top 11 of the best defensive guys in the entire league, and offenses are still going to get their points, I feel like, in today's NFL. It's like the NBA. I don't care how good a defensive team you are. If Durant's hot, he's getting 35 on you, and you might lose. Giannis, same way. Embiid, same way. So great offense is always going to trump great defense.
Yeah.
Really just need your defense to be just good enough in today's NFL And you need to have an elite offense that scores points and makes plays and puts pressure on the defense on that side of the ball. Whereas opposed to in the 90s and early 2000s in the Jim Johnson era, you kind of did it the other way.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that line is. Jonathan Gannon's got to figure it out and be a little bit better tonight against, I think, a more talented Vikings team than the Detroit team we played last week.
Yeah, they're definitely more talented as like an overall team. They definitely have more established players in the NFL. So I would give the Vikings the edge when it comes to overall talent. But Umberto, it is going to be clear tonight in Philadelphia and South Philly. So rain won't be a factor tonight. And if it was raining, I think that would actually hurt us just based off what we've seen in the run game last week. Remember, comments always brought to you by.
I would love it. I don't know what it did down there, but it rained for a little bit here in the afternoon. I got excited. Yeah. You made the Eagles' offensive line, the Eagles' running attack, and the Eagles schematically running the football. I'll take mud, muck, rain, sleet, snow. I'll take all that shit in any Eagles game this year.
Yep. You guys heard us mention our little early bets for tonight. I got them covering 2.5. Go download BetUS. BetUS is a leading online sportsbook that has been in the market for over 25 years. You can bet anywhere in the U.S. on everything. Use that link below and bet Eagles minus 2.5, and you get a 125% sign-up bonus. Make sure you check that out. A big thing that let's start getting into the keys for tonight. First key that I would love to see is it is obviously Jonathan Gannon, but more in particular, last year when we saw good quarterbacks throughout the season, they were throwing at historical rates when it came to completion percentage. I know Justin Herbert, 80s, Derek Carr, 90s, and Tom Brady, 80s, twice, 2 different times. Dak Prescott, like all those guys were just throwing in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Kirk Cousins is no slouch. He's a good quarterback. He's in that second tier, I believe. He's definitely a top 15 quarterback in this league. He's in the top half quarterbacks in this league. Is Kirk Cousins going to complete 80% of his passes, or is Gannon's toys going to come out, and is he going to prove to us that he can build a scheme with the talent that is around us? Gardner Johnson, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Marcus Epps is a good little player. He was all over the field last week. You got the covered linebackers in here now. Like, is this team going to be able to compete against a good quarterback, or is it just the same shit with Jonathan Gannon?
It depends. I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat on defense. And one way you don't skin the cat in today's NFL is just sit back in soft zone the entire game and let them just pick you apart, because you're going to lose. These quarterbacks today, they're going to throw for 70, 80, maybe even 90% completion percentages if you did that. And we saw that last year, as you pointed out. So, I mean, all eyes are on the defense. Obviously, I haven't given up 30 points tonight. I mean, I don't really think that's a detriment to our defense. I think we're playing a really good football team, and I think it's going to be high scoring. But, the stats don't say everything. I need to see aggressiveness. I need to see aggressiveness, not just sit back in his zone and hope for the best. Like, let's get after something. And that starts with the front four, who make all the money for all these years on this team. They don't get home. They don't put pressure on the quarterback. Would we have 1 sack last week, I think?
Yeah.
It resulted, I think, Goff fumbled, right, on the sack.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, they need to do that against Kirk Cousins. I know you alluded to his Monday Night Football record. He's 2-9 record on Mondays in his career. So
I could be wrong, but I think both of them are against the Eagles.
I could go more, and I could see the exact records.
I'm pretty sure at least one of them is.
No. So 2017, on October 23rd, we beat him on Monday night. That was when he was with Washington during our Super Bowl run.
That was when Wentz was the quarterback.
Yeah. So his only 2 wins actually were his last 2 Monday nights. So his last 2 Monday nights, he's 2-0. November 16th, 2020, he was with Minnesota, and he went to Chicago and beat them. And then the following year, December 20th, 2021, he beat Chicago again. So his last 2 Monday nights, he's 2-0. but he started off his career 0-9 on Monday Night Football. 0-9. Let's go back to the habit of beating Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. I mean, the stars align for the Eagles to win this football game. And let's go back to the keys. And my main key, you alluded to it in your statement, bring pressure on Kirk Cousins. I'm not saying bring pressure the way that the Detroit Lions brought pressure last week, but you need to make Kirk Cousins feel uncomfortable tonight. You need to make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. You need to make him escape the pocket. You need to make him beat you the way that Tom Brady beats you. You need to see if Kirk Cousins is a legit pocket passer and if he could get the ball out fast. And I don't think he can. I mean, that's why I have him in the top 12 to top 15. He's not a top 10 quarterback. And usually when you're not a top 10 quarterback, you're usually pretty bad when it comes to going against the blitz. So
you don't think Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback?
No, I can name 10 quarterbacks right now. Like Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Dak Prescott. I mean, are we going to say that Russell Wilson, obviously, that's 10. Are you saying that Kyler Murray is better than Kirk Cousins? I mean, there's 10 right there, and then you're in the 11 to 12 range with like Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. Like, is he better
Matt
than
Ryan
those guys?
stinks. He's not a top 10 anything anymore.
Yeah,
they got shut out
he's done
yesterday
now.
by the Jaguars.
But Carson Wentz, Kyler Murray, I feel like I'm missing one in the top 10, like a legit guy. But Joe Burrow is better than Kirk Cousins. I know they're in trouble, but Joe Burrow is better than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they're not in trouble. The Bengals are going to be fine.
Yeah, we'll
Not
talk about
worried
that
at all. Not worried at all. So run defense is the key for me. And then, like, is this going to be the night where I'm going to flip on Jalen Hurts and he's going to go and convince me that he can go out there and win a playoff game?
Yeah.
That's my second key to the game. Can he wow me? I'm not easily impressed, Jimmy. I'm sure you and all the people at A2D Radio that do shows and all the great fans that listen to A2D Radio, I am not easily impressed. So is this going to be the night where I wake up tomorrow morning and soak everything in and be, wow, okay, I feel confident that Jalen Hurts can win me a playoff game? I don't think he can, even after week 1, which was a win. So is tonight going to be the night that Jalen Hurts wows me enough to where I can stand on top of the bar and tell all of Philadelphia and all the world that I have a quarterback that can win me a playoff game? So I don't think I have one right now. And like I said, I'm not easily impressed. So
yeah, I mean,
spotlight's on Jalen Hurts to change my mind. I think
know,
your mind too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already 3/4 of the way there. The only thing left that he has to prove to me is that he can beat a legitimate team. Tonight is the first night where he can. Well, tonight's the night where he gets that opportunity again to beat a legit team. I know his first season when he came in and cleaned up just the mess that was going on in this organization in 2020. Everybody says that Saints win was a big win. People forget that you played Taysom Hill that game. Taysom Hill was their quarterback. I wouldn't count that as a big win because Taysom Hill's not a quarterback.
I don't even think you beat a top 20 quarterback last year.
Well, yeah, not last year and not the year before. I mean, his only win was against the Saints in 2020, not to his fault. And then last year, who's the best quarterback that you beat? Was it Matt Ryan in Atlanta? Probably. Matt Ryan was probably the best quarterback you beat last year.
It's probably fair. Because you look at the end, you had Jake from State Farm, you had Heineke, you had Daniel Jones, who you lost to.
Garrett Gilbert that you beat. You beat
Trevor Siemian.
You beat Trevor Siemian. You beat Teddy Bridgewater.
We didn't beat Gilbert last year. Dak beat us, and then
okay,
they boat raced us in week 17 because all our guys had COVID.
Yeah, you beat Glennon. You beat Mike Glennon last year. You beat Glennon and Fromm because they both played that game. But you beat Teddy
the Giants,
Bridgewater.
okay. And then you beat, I guess it was, who was it, Drew Lock or Bridgewater when we went out to Denver?
Bridgewater. You beat Teddy Bridgewater.
Either way, that's not wowing anything. That doesn't, beating Teddy Bridgewater head to head doesn't wow me that you can go out and beat Stafford or Rodgers or Brady or whatever big time NFC quarterback you want to throw out there, in a playoff setting. And look at the teams you lost to. You lost to Mahomes. You lost to Herbert. You lost to Brady twice. You lost to Derek Carr. The book's kind of out on this Eagles team that if you're playing an elite quarterback or a quarterback that's not backup third string status, you're potentially in trouble.
Yeah. And my last key, or one of my last keys to this game, is being able to stay in the moment, being able to just overall, and this is going to be on Nick Sirianni because he's the president of the team. He doesn't call plays on offense or defense. He overlooks the football team. That comes from managing his timeouts, managing the team as a whole, being able to manage the clock, being able to get his guys ready to play. And this started from Monday or Tuesday, whenever they started preparing for the Vikings. That is my last key to this game. Being able to stay in the moment, Monday Night Football, last game of the week on the slate, playing a really good Vikings team who just beat Aaron Rodgers, the reigning back-to-back MVP, being able to not falter like most Philadelphia teams do in this type of moment. Being able to just live up to the expectations, because this team has a lot of expectations on them now, not just from a local perspective, but from the national perspective. I mean, they're tied for third now to win the NFC in the sports books, the main sports books. They're tied for third to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. Like, expectations are there for this football team. Nick Sirianni needs to keep the buzz low and just have this football team play football. That also starts with Jalen Hurts as well. Jalen Hurts needs to be able to continue to evolve his game. I think he had a great evolution in week 1. Let's continue to evolve. Let's continue to see you, once you escape that pocket, keep your eyes down the field and find Devontae Smith wide open on the sideline, to find Quez Watkins wide open in the flat, to check it down to Miles Sanders so that Miles Sanders is taking those hits, not Jalen Hurts. Checking it down to Dallas Goedert so that he takes those hits and not Jalen Hurts. Like, that's what I need to see. The overall game management between Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and Jonathan Gannon.
And God forbid if the start of this football game doesn't go that well, like, stick to your plan, run the football, do your check downs, do your screens. If you get that last year, week 2, Monday Night Football, you got boat raced by Dallas. And part of the reason you got boat raced is because you got down early by 14, 17 points, and you just totally abandoned the way you want to play football. You got throw happy, and mistakes happened, and it just got spiraled out of control, and the game was over midway through the second quarter, and there was not a damn thing you can do about it. If you go down 14, 17 points early, don't stop running the ball. Don't get throw happy. You can still do your bubble screens. You can still do your check downs. Don't abandon what sparked this great turnaround we had last year and ultimately led to a playoff berth.
Yeah.
And any other keys is, I think we pretty much hit them all. I'm not worried about the Eagles' offensive line.
No. I think they play. I think a lot of people were unfairly criticizing the offensive line last week. I mean, when you get an extra guy sent every single time, it's going to look like the offensive line played bad. Just like in the Tampa Bay game last year in the wild card round. They were stacking the box with 8 guys and forcing
this
Jalen
is what
to play
happens. This is why I'm not worried about the Bengals, Jimmy, because they have a whole new offensive line. And when you don't take the summer seriously, it takes time to build that continuity. You need continuity on your offensive line. That comes with playing real football games, real football snaps.
Yeah.
So I think if the Vikings want to play that game and blitz like the Vikings blitzed or the Lions blitz, excuse me, I think the offensive line will respond a lot better tonight.
Well,
And
I
if you
also
want to blitz a running quarterback like Jalen Hurts,
you're gonna
you know,
lose.
probably half the time or over half the time, he's going to run around it and really hurt you. So you kind of got to pick your poison. We were talking about Bet USA earlier. I don't have an official play on the Eagles game because I get too nervous and I don't like doing it unless I'm really confident. But I do like the Titans to cover the 11 tonight against Buffalo.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
will like the bold.
I would maybe even parlay that with the over in the Eagles game, which I think was 15.5 earlier in the day. So if you go plus 11 Titans and then over 15.5 in the Eagles and Vikings game, I think you got yourself a good little payout that could hit. There may be a $50 piece on that, pizza bet on that, whatever you guys say. But just to get to Joe's comment real quick, let's get to some comments. Rob, what do you think about this? Would you like him to step up into the pocket to avoid pressure and make a throw instead of rolling out every time? Me quickly, I just don't think that's the type of quarterback he is, and I don't think you're going to be able to develop that. I mean, he is what he is, and he's going to roll out every single time. It's just a matter of him keeping his eyes up and throwing to the open guy.
This is Jalen Hurts needs to drop back, 3-5 step drop, first read, second read. If they're not there, go run.
Yeah,
he's not going to be able to dissect the defense like these elite quarterbacks. He's not that good. I would love to see him step up in the pocket to avoid pressure. It's there for him to do that, but he doesn't have that skill set. Like Jimmy said, he is what he is. He's a first read, second read, run quarterback. I don't even like him having this much freedom at the line of scrimmage to change plays because I'm not completely sold that he has the IQ to be able to handle that. So you need to you're in survival mode with Jalen Hurts as your quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he's handicapped. He's not working with a full skill set that you need to be an elite quarterback in this league. So it's survival mode from play to play. So if you want to call pass play, it's first read, second read, run. Mm-hmm. It's just like McNabb was when he was a pup after he got drafted. It was first read, second read, go. Now McNabb was a way better thrower of the football. He had an absolute cannon. I think he's more accurate than Jalen Hurts. He had more skills to be developed by Andy Reid, a great coach. So he was able to develop himself into a legitimate franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts, he's a finished product. This is what he is. People thinking that he's going to make the jump to be an MVP candidate like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes, I just don't see it. Like I said, I'm very hard to impress. Anytime he wants to change my mind, he can step up and change my mind. Russ Williams, we weren't even seeing second reads last week.
I think we were. I think that's unfair.
Go ahead. I agree with. Go ahead. I agree with that.
I think that's unfair to say. I think he was looking at. He was definitely a different quarterback from what we saw last year. He was definitely staying in the pocket, whether that was a half a second longer or a second. Like a second in football is a long time. Like people tend to forget. Just sports in general, a second is a long time in the world of sports. So I think the way he was, he did look off a few guys here and there. He did miss throws here and there when he was staying in the pocket. But he just was unbelievable last week, in my humble opinion. The way that he just outclassed the Lions single-handedly, mind you. I mean, you're getting 5-6 guys thrown at you every single play, and he's just escaping it, converting third and longs, play in and play out. Like that is what I like to see from Jalen Hurts if they're just going to throw the house at you every single time. I mean, we won the football game. Let's be real. We won the football game, and we put up 38 points in the process. So, and he did improve as a thrower. And I think that's a result of A.J. Brown being here. A legit wide receiver in this football league. Probably a top 10 wide receiver in this football league.
I mean, I think that's another key to the game. Like, Is it going to be the A.J. Brown show again, or is Minnesota going to be ready for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith steps up, or Goddard, or Quez Watkins gets a deep ball or two over the top? With time, A.J. Brown's presence is going to open it up for Devontae Smith, Goddard, Watkins, Pascal, the other playmakers on this team. It didn't happen in week one because why would you go away from A.J. Brown? He was an absolute beast. No one could stop him.
Yeah,
But
keep feeding him.
Yeah,
until
people
it
are
doesn't
kind of
work.
like I feel like people are kind of freaking out. And Devontae Smith, he only got 4 targets. Like you had 15 targets for A.J. Brown. I think Goddard had 7 or 8. Like that's already 25 targets. That's already counting for how many dropbacks. So someone's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Rob. And I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
What do you guys actually want? And I'm not really directing this at you, but all offseason, all I heard was, oh, this team needs to continue to be a running football team. We need to run the football. Jalen can't throw. Well, he threw it pretty damn good last week, and we still had 4 rushing touchdowns. We still had more rushing attempts than we had passing attempts. So what does everybody want? Do you want us to be a passing football team where A.J. Brown's getting 10-plus targets and Devontae Smith's getting 10-plus targets and Dallas Goedert's getting 10-plus targets? Or do you want us to be the running football team that everybody said that we want it to be? Or do you want it to be balanced?
I want to be a running football team.
Well, yeah, that I understand you want that, but what does everybody in the chat want? Because one week I hear somebody saying that we need to run the football, and then this week I hear people saying, "Oh, Devontae Smith needs to be more involved." When Jalen Hurts already had 30-plus passing attempts, and we had more rushing attempts. So what is it?
Yeah, I call it the Tobias Harris factor. Like you have Harden, you have Embiid, you have Maxey. There's only one basketball. Oh, Tobias Harris, he makes $180 million. He only had 12 points. Okay, but he only took 4 shots. You know? Like, what do you want? Not everyone can have 25 points. There's only one basketball. You only have so many possessions.
Yeah. And so in this league, it's a week-to-week game. It's a very short season. You only play 17 games. Wins are hard to come by in the NFL, especially in week 1 on the road with a team that was as hyped up as the Lions were. So to come out on top and drop 38 right down their throats and to basically just shut them out for 3 quarters, that's a sign for a good football team, in my opinion, with the Philadelphia Eagles.
By the way, Aiden Hutchinson was an absolute menace yesterday. I think he had 3 sacks. He didn't do nothing against the Eagles' offensive line.
Yes, he did not do anything against
the front 4 of I don't know. I don't remember how many sacks the Lions had, but Jalen got out of it. So, like, the line did okay compared to what that improved Detroit front can do against other teams. Don 19, he's in the house. Shout out to his Detroit Lions getting a big win over Carson Wentz and the Commanders. That's our game next week. We got the Commanders coming. We're going down to FedEx Field.
Mm-hmm. Going down to that dump.
Yeah, hopefully their railing doesn't break and almost kill our fans again.
Yeah, and our quarterback.
Mr. Wings asking about our picks. Joseph, you want to put up Joseph Korkowski's parlay there. I like most of that. Hurts rushing TD should just be really just a blind bet every week. He's going to run one in. Like in 13 of the 17 games, at least I feel like. Yeah. Hurts over 44 rushing yards. I like that.
Is that more at the top of the comments, or is that like?
Yeah, it's at the top.
Okay.
Can I guess I can't do it, but Cousins' passing yards is under 305 yards, according to Joe. That seems like a lot. So
I like that parlay. That's what, a 4-leg?
A 4-leg parlay. He's probably got a decent payout there.
Yeah.
Frank Vesby's in the house. Base Gyron checking out us on YouTube. On paper, this is as close to an even game as you can get. Anyone saying otherwise is a homer. I think it's going to be a tough game. I have the Eagles winning, but not by a lot.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, until I see somebody shut down Jalen Hurts' running ability this year, I'm going to keep on going on the Jalen Hurts train.
Mr. Wing doesn't trust the defense. Tackling doesn't get better in a week. I think you're going to be surprised, or maybe I'll be surprised. I think the tackling is going to be better in a week. Look, you knocked off all that rust last week. All that rust got knocked off. So I fully expect a talented defense here in Philadelphia to be a lot better tonight. And if they're not, we start looking a little deeper into things. We read that one. John Addock, he wants to see Cox and Davis out there together. I'm all for it. Jordan Davis is a first-round pick. First-round picks start in this league.
Yeah, if you weren't going to play him, you should have drafted Kyle Hamilton. And I'll stand on that rock until Jordan Davis proves me otherwise. Until he gets a strip sack in the Super Bowl like Brandon Graham did, it's going to be the Earl Thomas effect. That's going to be what I see from here on out.
Don 19, 1 sack against the Eagles with 6 sacks against the Commanders. Jalen Hurts' legs were the difference last week. Totally agree. Alan Salt, we know the narrative. Jordan Davis only played 22 snaps. He's the 13th pick in the draft. He should be on the field double that. No questions asked. I agree. You got to work him in. You got to do a better job working him in. Jake Friel, it's going to be close, but he agrees with the poll. He's got the Birds winning. Umberto Pasca, he's an insider member. Become an insider member. Follow the link in the chat. $9.99 a month. You get sports picks from the Weekly Money Pot podcast and Willie Vegas. Appearances on shows, members only streams, shout outs, and the gambling, which I mentioned. The forecast in Philly, it's going to be clear. I think we touched on that. I lost my spot. Devlin, England. It's raining. Connecticut. Yeah, who cares what it's doing in Connecticut? I don't know what it's doing in Buffalo. Here,
Yeah, they're about to kick off.
They're about to kick. Don 19 says Jimmy G is better than Kirk Cousins.
I agree to that.
I think Kirk Cousins is more talented, but Jimmy G just has a knack for winning football games.
Jimmy G is a winner. That's what he does.
Winner.
He wins.
And we talk about it all the time, especially when we come around draft time. Winning is a skill set at all positions in all sports. But look at Carson Wentz.
What's up,
Carson
Brad?
Wentz has all the talent in the world. Every skill you need to be a franchise quarterback, Carson Wentz has it. But he's not a winner. He's a loser. And he showed that yesterday. Yeah. And is it bad that I feel more like I have a bunch of futures bet on the Niners?
I think that it's a good thing that Jimmy G is the quarterback now for the sake of your bets. For the sake of your bets.
I'm more confident now. Like Trey Lance could have been great, and obviously we'll never know now because he broke his ankle and really took the league by storm and been great. But now I just have a solid, steady option in there at Jimmy G, and I feel better about it. What's going on, Brad?
Hey, guys. I'm sorry about being so late, but
we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you. You got to answer the poll.
A little early for me, but that's okay. I'm good.
Yeah. So you got to answer the poll question.
Okay.
Are the Eagles going to win tonight? Agree or disagree?
I agree. I think it's going to be like 24-23, something like that. A field goal in the last second of the game. That's what I see. I think these are two very evenly matched teams. They're both good. They're both good football teams, and I think this is also kind of a big test for both of these teams to see where they're really at this year. How good really are the Eagles? How good really are the Vikings? On paper, the Vikings always look like they're such a great team, but on the field, it just never seems to happen. The Eagles on paper look pretty darn good, but last week, pretty shaky outing against Detroit, especially in the second half. As I said, this is going to be a very interesting game, and it's going to be kind of a telling game because we'll see now which of these teams are for real and which isn't. If one of these teams romps over the other team, I would say that the team that romps is the real team, and the other one could be kind of a little bit fraudulent. So that's what I think. I think the Eagles are going to win a real close one. I think it'll be somebody making a crucial mistake, towards the end of the game that's going to enable the Eagles to win the game.
Yeah.
Do you have like a key to the game? I know you said mistake late, field goals late.
Yeah, I think the Eagles' special teams are pretty good. I think that what's going to end up happening is I think when it comes to the fourth quarter, it's going to be a very close, low-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think that the Eagles are going to wear the Vikings down in the fourth quarter with that RPO stuff, and I just think that they're going to be able to tire out that defense, and in the end, they're going to be able to get the ball down the field, run out the clock, and kick a field goal.
Sounds like a plan to me. A win's a win in my eyes.
I want to win the football game. I want to win the football game.
Well,
I don't know how Eagles fans.
That's the key. I mean, that you have the home, you have home field. I think you're going to come out. If the key for the Vikings, as far as I'm concerned, is don't allow the Eagles to get off to like a 10 or 17-0 lead in the first quarter. You know the Eagles are going to come out flying. You know the fans are going to be all fired up. The coaches and the players are going to be all fired up. They're going to have to match that intensity, not allow themselves to get too far behind, and keep it close so that they can have the opportunity to hang around and steal the game in the fourth quarter. That's what I think the Vikings need to do if they're going to win the game.
Yeah, Michael Skelton, 35-24. Minnesota wins. Too much talent offensively. Philly struggled with Detroit. LOL. See, I don't know if Michael's – I don't know what fandom he resides in. But to say that we struggled against Detroit after everything I've laid out over the past 45 minutes, with the sole fact that we essentially shut them down, with the exception of one touchdown in the first 2.5 quarters, and then Jonathan Gannon, being the defensive coordinator he is, decides to play soft coverage and allow a team to come back into the game when they didn't even win the game. It's just asinine. It's an asinine point. I mean,
but you can't give up 35 points though, Jimmy. That's ridiculous.
This is not 1994 anymore.
Solid. That's not championship football.
Look at the whole landscape of the league. Teams that get a big lead with too much time left on the clock, they always crumble. They go in these soft zones.
Do it last week though.
The Rams almost blew it to the Falcons. That's for sure. Everybody does it. That does happen, but 35 points is a lot of points.
Vegas blew a 20-0 lead.
Yeah, no, I know. I watched the end of that game. I was pretty disgusted with how they played.
The Browns blew a 13-point lead in 90 seconds.
Yes,
I don't put that on playing soft zone though. That they're just the Browns and they're a bunch of idiots. And the other one was the Ravens. The Ravens had blown coverage after blown coverage because they're trying to play a soft shell cover 2, and nobody's covering Tyreek Hill down the field.
Let's just see the adjustments. Let's see if they go up again by 17 with 2 minutes left in the third. Let's see if they do the same exact thing. Because if you do it against the Vikings, you're probably going to lose the game, right? You're not going to lose the game when you play the Lions, since we think that the Lions are so bad. But if you do it against Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook, you're going to lose.
The Lions found a way to win yesterday. They played a great first half and then hung on. But the Lions are going to win some games. I mean, listen, the Commanders are a team the Lions have to beat at home, especially at home, if they're going to even have a remote chance to be mentioned this season as far as football is concerned. So that was a big win for them to even things up. Right now, I guess that division everybody's 1-1, right? Except for the Vikings.
Yes.
To be determined, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so at this point, you would think that, the loss would not be that big of a deal for the Vikings. It would be more of a big deal for the Eagles because, again, it's a home game for them. And, they need to be winning these games. They want to prove to everybody, that they're the big dog in the NFC. It's time to show it.
Yeah, and the Eagles want to do the same exact thing because if they beat the Vikings with all the hype around both the teams have a lot of hype. I mean, people are saying the Vikings are going to win the North, and people are saying that the Eagles have the third best chance to win the NFC. So both these teams have expectations. Let's see which one lives up to them, and let's see which one falters them in a an environment that's going to be a playoff environment tonight in South Philadelphia.
A lot of people in the chat are screaming for Nakobe Dean. I'm all for that as well. Look, our three linebackers should be Dean, Edwards, and Kazir White. Reddick should kick down to a traditional defensive end spot, and then you have Cox, Hargrave, and I guess BG or Sweat. Sorry, whatever you want to do there. So you got to kick Reddick down with the Barnett injury and just have him rush the passer. You're not giving Hassan Reddick all that money to cover tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. That's absolutely ridiculous. He's had double-digit sacks in Carolina the past 2 seasons. You bring him in to fix your pass rush. Let him go rush the passer.
Reddick? I thought Reddick played for the Cardinals last year.
Did he? Maybe I'm wrong.
It was Cardinals or Panthers because he played for both of them in his career.
It was the Cardinals last year, but
yeah.
By the way, guys, how did you like that pass that Kyler Murray threw yesterday? That touchdown
pass. That was unbelievable. He's gifted athletically.
How many quarterbacks could make that throw?
I mean, Kyler Murray, he's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. I mean, is he going to be engaged? Is he going to be engaged and be a stud, which he's capable of, or is he going to be a space case like he kind of was in week 1 and they got boat raced?
You're right. I mean, listen, when he's on top of his game, I mean, he may be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But then he has games where you just can't understand what the heck happens.
I'm not sure if Mike watches anything but Eagles. Because if you don't see that Detroit's a good football team right now, from what they did in the last month of last year, and then look what they did the past 2 weeks in putting up 35-plus points, they're a pretty damn good offense. They're a good, solid football team that's going to compete for the 7th seed.
And, I know it's Detroit, and, they're never good, and they're kind of a train wreck of an organization. They had Matthew Stafford for all those years and couldn't do anything with them, which is embarrassing. Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, the great players they've had that they've wasted. The list goes on and on. 60% of their offensive line is elite. You have Sewell, you have Decker, and you have Ragnow at center. You have a menace rushing the passer in Aiden Hutchinson. Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, DJ Chark, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams. All these guys are legitimate NFL football players. Do they have some work to do on the defensive side of the ball? Sure they do. But, they're 1-1. The Eagles might be 1-1 after this week. I don't know. This is a total toss-up game.
Well, it's a little early in the season. It's a little early in the season to really make a judgment about any team, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm making my judgment based on what I saw, what Jimmy said over the past month, 2 months of last season, and what I saw in week 1 and what I saw in week 2. And the Lions are they going to make the playoffs? No, I think they're going to be right there for a 7 seed. This narrative that keeps getting put forth by the Philadelphia fan base, really lazy fans that only watch the Eagles, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But to just ignore Detroit as some pushover loser franchise like they were in years past, that's not correct.
It's just ignorant. It's not knowing what you're talking about.
And you're in 5 weeks. So what's it, week 2 right now? Let's say by week 8, everyone around Philadelphia, all these people that are saying Detroit stinks, doesn't mean anything. Oh, man, we suck. We let up all these points in Detroit. We're going to get to week 8, and we're going to look at, wait, we beat Detroit in Detroit? They're 5-3.
Well, they could also be 2-6. You never know with Detroit. I don't know that they could beat any of the. I don't know if they're better than any of the teams in the NFC Central, to be honest with you.
Well, the Bears stink, and I know the Bears.
I thought they looked pretty.
Niners.
I thought they looked pretty good. I thought they looked pretty good last night for 3 quarters. I think that they made an absolutely ridiculous call on fourth and inches when it was still a game last night, when it was 20-10.
Look,
I mean that was crazy coaching. I mean, you're an inch from the goal line, and then you're taking the ball in the shotgun and trying to run a play. I mean, that was just ridiculously dumb.
Here's Detroit's next 4 games: at Minnesota next week at 1:00. That's probably going to be a loss.
It's a big game. I'm not.
That's
I'm
a
not.
loss.
I'm not going to count them out, but let's count it as a loss. All right. Yeah, I think it's
So
going to
they're
be close.
they're 1-2.
Okay. And then they go back home against Seattle. That is a stone cold win.
That's 2-2.
Okay.
At New England. I think
I think New
2-3.
England completely stinks.
yes.
They still have a good defense.
They have
They're
a
gonna
good
lose.
defense.
They won't
but
be.
who's
They won't win in. They won't win in New England.
Who's covering Amon-Ra St. Brown? Because Amon-Ra St. Brown's putting up numbers that Cooper Kupp's putting up. And Amon-Ra's been doing that since last November.
Bill
I like
Belichick
the
will
Lions.
find a way
I
to
like
keep
the Lions
things under
net. I don't
control with
think.
them.
I know New England wins yesterday, but I mean, I think Mitch Trubisky kind of showed like Mitch Trubisky's going to have those games.
I go
'Cause
New
it's
England.
Mitch Trubisky.
I go New England. That's
Yeah,
3-2.
Yeah, I take New England would win that game.
So you have Detroit losing that one.
So 2-3
2
or
and 3.
3-2. And
2
then
and
they
3.
have October 23rd at Dallas. I think Dallas stone cold collapses that game, whether that's Dak's first game back, whether he's not even back, whether it's his second game back. I just don't think they're that good of a football team.
I don't know what
I don't
to make
know
of
about
Dallas
that, Jimmy. If they're
Dallas
look,
looked pretty darn good last night against Cincinnati.
The
They
defense
straight-
looked good.
they straight
The
bullied the
defense looks
defending
really
AFC
good.
champions.
Yeah, defense looked good, but Detroit looks good too.
Yeah, but Detroit's not going to score against them. Cincinnati has a better offense than Detroit, and Cincinnati.
So
couldn't
basically,
score
what we're
against them
getting
either.
at is
gonna
Detroit's
be a
playing a lot
500
of
football
toss-up games.
They're going to be a 500 football team. They
Who,
might be
the
9-8.
Lions?
They might be 8-9. Yeah, the
I
Lions.
think more like 6-11, maybe 7-10 at best.
Okay. I got 9-8, 8-9.
I mean, they're going to lose. They're going to
Let's
lose
go
both
through it. We
games
got
against
time.
Green Bay.
We got
They're gonna
time.
lose
Go
both
through their
games
whole
against
thing. Do you have it right up there,
Minnesota.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I got it.
All right,
So-
we'll come to a consensus.
And they'll probably split. They'll probably split against the Bears.
So after at Dallas, that's their sixth game. Let's say they're 3-3 by then, right? 3-3. All right. Then Miami comes up to Detroit.
They're not beating Miami.
All right, so 3-4.
I don't think anybody can beat Miami right now. That's an unbelievable win for Tua. That's an unbelievable win for that coach.
Okay.
Well,
Just-
if you want to talk about a team, Buffalo just marched right down the field and scored a touchdown against Tennessee.
I got the Titans. I got the Titans plus 11, Brad.
11.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I would. I mean, I would take 11 points. It's just like the Falcons with the 10.5 yesterday.
I had that. I fired on that yesterday too.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the way teams seem to come back, but this Buffalo
Backdoor's
team
never
right
been
now-
more wide open in NFL betting. Never been more wide open.
Yeah, no, you're right.
All right,
Right,
so what's
this-
the rest of the Lions schedule?
All right.
This
So we got
Buffalo
them
team is unbelievable.
at.
They just
Then
make
they
it
have
look so easy.
home against Packers. So that's 3-5
That's a
right there.
loss.
3-5. At Chicago,
Win.
Detroit wins that
That's a
game.
loss,
4-5.
No, it's not. Stop it.
That's a loss. They're not winning.
Chicago's
Chicago
not
actually
good at
stinks.
all.
They actually
Yeah, but
stink.
Chicago actually, I thought played a pretty good game last night. As I said, both their coach fucked up that game last night for them.
Well,
Really did. Come on, Rob. 4th and inches. Why are
They're
you in a
four-
shotgun? Why?
We got
Why
4
aren't you
and
just
5.
doing a quarterback sneak? Why aren't you doing the Tom
that's
Brady?
the way the teams play now. I don't know.
That's
I
retarded
saw
football.
it. I saw what you saw.
That was
they don't have,
retarded
like,
football.
They don't.
I mean,
play-
it's so
they
easy to
don't-
break. It's so easy to break down a play like that because if one
The
offensive
Lions have
lineman screws up-
significantly more talent than the Bears.
Yeah.
Well,
Who's
the
just
Bears
a
also have
significant-
significantly more talent on the defensive end as well. Bears have a good defense. Let's not kid ourselves.
Okay.
They also beat San Francisco. I get it that Jimmy G wasn't quarterbacking, but still, that was a good win
It
for
was
them.
also
the game was pouring
there was
in Chicago.
understand
8
that.
in
inches
week
of
1.
rain in that game.
I understand that, but both teams had the same problem, and Chicago
Okay,
still
but
found a
weird
way to
stuff
win. It rained
happens
for
in
both
games
teams.
like that.
Huh?
I think
Weird stuff
consensus right now
happens
is
in
4 and
games
5.
like that.
Well, you know what? I saw a lot more growth out of their quarterback last night, Fields, than from last year. I thought he
Look,
played
I'm number
pretty well
one.
last night.
I thought Justin Fields was a great quarterback. Brad, I talked about him when that draft rolled around. I couldn't believe the Niners took Trey Lance. I couldn't believe the Jets took Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. You have to sell me on Justin Fields. I think he's going to be
I thought he
terrific.
played. I thought he looked pretty good last night. I just think that the Bears screwed that game up
because their
they got
playmakers aren't up to snuff, and their defense is full of guys that were good 3 years ago.
Well,
people
keep in
like
mind,
you, I guess, think are still good.
You're still going up against Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is still an elite quarterback.
The Bears stink.
The Bears stink, Brad.
I think, but the Lions aren't good either, so they're going to split that series. I think the Lions are going to lose in Chicago and win at home.
All right,
the Lions have never been. The Lions have always stunk on the road, so I'm going to give them a loss in that game.
All right, after at Chicago, you're at Brad's New York Giants.
The bottom's going to fall out of these Giants.
The bottom's going to fall out?
Yes.
I mean, if you take a look at who the Giants are playing the next 4 weeks, that's entirely possible.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, good for you guys for being 2-0, but I just don't. First off, the leash is on Daniel Jones big time. Brian Daboll doesn't let him throw the ball more than 3 to 5 yards down the field.
Would you?
He doesn't trust him.
Would you?
No.
Okay, so what's wrong with that? They're letting Saquon Barkley. They're giving the ball to Saquon Barkley, and they're letting
Saquon down. They're just going to clamp down and take away.
They're playing well offensively on the ground, and they've been very good defensively. I think they did a good job yesterday. And keep in mind, they didn't have. I can't pronounce the one defensive end's name, but he wasn't there. They didn't have Thibodeau either. Next week they'll have him, but again, it's going to be a big game next Monday night between the Giants and the Cowboys. You get to see what the Giants are really made of too.
Where's that game, Brad?
Huh?
Where's that game?
Here.
To New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, you're going to get tested. Your offensive line is going to get tested next week because the Dallas Cowboys straight bullied the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday.
Well, their offensive line got tested yesterday too. One thing Carolina has is a very good front four. I'm not so sure about the rest of their defense, but their front four is pretty good. That one defensive end they've got is fast as hell. Can't remember his name, but he was all over the field yesterday.
All right, so we got Lions 5-5 after 10.
Through
5-5. I have them
3-7. You have them at 3-7. We have them at 5-5.
Well, this would be typical. This is typical of Eagle fans. You guys have to justify the fact that you shouldn't have given up 35 points by making they're going to beat everybody. So I consider your opinions very biased and not being credible. So go ahead. You can say, listen, the Lions are going to be.
We have justifications. The Lions are going to be 12-4, excuses.
And the Eagles are going to be 17-0.
All New York fans just have built-in excuses.
We already have them at 5 losses there, genius. So they're not going to be 12-4. And you can't even be 12-4 because there's 17 games.
No, they're going to be 12. They're going to be at least 12-5 because they scored 35 points against the Eagles, right?
Did you watch?
Okay, did you miss that they scored 36 points against the Commanders as well?
Players on their team, right, Jimmy?
I mean, now it seems like they are one of the top NFC teams when it comes to betting because they're third.
Okay, would you say in the NFL they're a top 10 team in the NFL?
The Eagles?
The Eagles are probably right now the 10th best team in the NFL.
Well, I mean, that's not week 2 is not over, so ask me tomorrow morning.
Most certainly, if they beat the Vikings,
right now, I think there are 7 or 8.
First off, I don't even want to get into power rankings.
There are 7 or 8. There are 7 or 8 teams in the AFC that are way better than the Eagles. Right now,
I mean, we have justifications off facts.
I don't care about the AFC, though.
The Rams and the 49ers are definitely better than the Eagles right now. So
I would agree with all.
We'll see if Minnesota is tonight. But the Eagles can shut me up if they kick their asses. I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Excuses. I mean, I've watched the justification of the facts that I've seen. It's been with my eyes watching this Lions team from the last month of last year and the past 2 weeks. that they're a good football
you know
team.
what? Once you're out of it and there's no pressure, it really doesn't matter. It's a
No,
big
it does
deal.
matter because it's a week-to-week game. These guys want to win
Okay.
every single week. There's no tanking in football. There
A
isn't.
lot of teams. You know what? As I said, once the pressure's off, sometimes teams do play better,
I can't
and
wait
that's
till
what I've
November 20th.
always seen.
November 20th, when Detroit marches into the Meadowlands.
The Giants may be completely out of it by then. Who
Exactly.
knows?
Built-in excuse right now. It's a built-in
Well, we
excuse.
don't know what the Giants. We don't know exactly how good the
You
Giants
guys are
are. We
2-0.
do
You should
know
be on your high horse right now.
what we do know is they are not one of the worst teams in the NFL anymore. Okay, that we can safely say. Okay, they've got two big wins against. So let's see what happens.
What was your over/under win thing
for the Giants
again? Was it 6.5?
The over/under
7.5?
was 7. Was it 7 or 6.5? I can't remember.
I bet you they go under still.
I don't know. We'll see. Listen,
I like Dable. I think he's a.
I do like Dable. I actually do like
Dable. I think that
Daniel Jones just stinks.
Playing, he hasn't been all that good. But he did make enough plays yesterday and didn't turn the ball over, and they won the football game.
The way they're calling offense, though, it's like impossible for him to turn the ball over unless he fumbles. If he starts with the way they're calling offense right now, if he starts throwing interceptions, Tyrod Taylor's going to be in.
God, I hope Tyrod Taylor is not better than Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor stinks.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure?
That is one guy I am not a fan of. I would rather see Davis Webb out there than Tyrod Taylor.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I would much rather see him. Davis Webb was not bad. He was actually very impressive in preseason.
Michael Skelton is angry on the Eagles opening night broadcast pregame show here. Vikings held Aaron Rodgers to 7 points. Imagine what they're going to do to Jalen, who is the running back disguised as a quarterback.
Let's make them more angry. Let's keep on going through the schedule. We're 5-5. Got 7 games left.
3-7. Go ahead.
Home against the Bills, home against Jaguars, home against Vikings. What do you have as
that's
that
3 losses in a row?
Yeah, they're 1-2. They win one of them.
No, they don't win any of them.
6 and 7.
They get destroyed by all 3 of those teams. So they get
destroyed by Jacksonville. They get destroyed by Jacksonville.
Jacksonville just shut out the Colts.
The Colts stink.
The Colts suck.
So do the Lions.
I had that pegged from the second they. It's always something with the Colts, and it's always all this bullshit hype with the Colts. And they have a quarterback now. They have Matt Ryan. They're going to take the next step. They're like, no, Matt Ryan's not good anymore. Carson Wentz is a loser, and I think they made the playoffs with Rivers. That's the 3 quarterbacks they've had since Luck left. The only one who did anything was Phillip Rivers. I'm sick of the Colts.
Ryan Tannehill is carving up this Buffalo defense right now.
Right now he is.
Tempo. This is why you take the 11.
Exactly.
A little Treylon Burks.
But wait a minute,
the Giants
beat this team pretty easily, actually, right?
They didn't beat them easily. They beat them. They won, yes.
The
Giants are 2-0. I can't take anything away from the Giants being 2-0. They're 2-0. But yeah, they beat the Titans. They didn't easily beat the Titans. They had a 45-yard field goal to beat your Giants, and the guy missed it.
No, it was a 47-yard field goal.
Whatever, 45.
And it was aided by
the guy should have made a professional kicker should make it.
They shouldn't have even had a field goal because they gave them 2 defensive holding calls that were both phantom calls.
You guys cheated.
We got 4 games left. 4 games left with the Lions, and this is interesting because right now 6 and 7. I say the consensus is, if not 4 and 9.
I've already said 3 and 10. Go ahead.
All right, so 6 and 7. They got at Jets, at Panthers, home against Bears, at 10. Packers.
6 and 10. 6 and 11.
I heard Jets and Panthers.
At Jets, at Panthers.
2 wins.
Home Bears.
Win.
3 wins. 6 and 11.
At Packers to end the season.
That's a loss.
Packers may have it clinched.
Unless Green Bay sits everyone because
So
they
like I
got it
said,
wrapped up.
9-8, 8-9, 10-7. That's the
6-11.
stretch right there.
I think the preseason prognosis is right on the nose. 6-11.
Jimmy and Rob, I totally agree. Our skill position players are great, but our O-line is better. Rely on the strength of your team. Yeah, I love the Eagles' offensive line. I think it's a great asset. Don 19. Is anyone still scared of Adam Thielen? I mean, was anyone ever scared of Adam Thielen? I mean,
Adam Thielen's pretty darn good. I don't know what
he's a good player, but I'm not sitting there on Tuesday morning in the meeting being like, okay, we have to make a game plan to stop Adam Thielen. He's not that type of player.
You better not worry about him. You better worry about the guy on the other side.
Well, James Bradbury's going to be covering him. It's going to be fine. And Justin Jefferson is going to be covered by Slay.
Let's see. The Giant defense without James Bradbury looks a lot better than the Giant defense when they had James Bradbury last year.
James Bradbury scored a touchdown last week.
Scored a touchdown last week.
Goff put the ball right in his hands.
No, it didn't. No, it got deflected. And Bradbury was right there and took it to the house.
Right, he got lucky. The same way that guy.
He was in
position.
He got
lucky. James Bradbury stinks.
He's in position.
We already know he stinks.
If he stinks, what do you think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to do to you guys?
Huh? We have a pretty good defense. Our defensive coordinator is pretty darn good, by the way. Martindale is pretty good.
Okay, and our defensive
he's done a nice job. You do realize we've given up one more point in 2 games than you have in 1. So, before you throw stones at our defense.
So does that mean you're a better football team than us? If we're basing
it
off
means
of those stats?
It means you vastly, like all Philadelphia fans, you vastly overrate all your teams.
You played the Panthers and the Titans.
Yeah, the Titans won their division last year, didn't they?
Off of what? Defense and running the football.
So?
Not off of high-powered scoring. The Lions are a high-powered scoring offense.
Huh? Yeah, they have no defense at all.
Okay, so the Giants are better than the Eagles because you've given up
less points. I didn't say the Giants are better than the Eagles. I'm just making a point that you are overrating the Eagles. They are barely a top 10 team.
You obviously didn't watch
NFL.
those first 3 quarters. You obviously didn't watch. All right, look at the Rams. How many points have the Rams given up in the first 2?
Who's going to win the NFC East, Brad?
And it's not
Probably
even close.
The Eagles. I would think that they should.
Okay. Do you think the Eagles are going to win a playoff game?
No.
So I overvalue the Eagles, and I have the same exact fucking prediction as you.
Mike, then leave. Just leave. Don't be an Eagle fan anymore. I mean, we're like everybody on this platform tends to come out and give a real sports prediction, a real sports take. We don't say anything to blow shit up your ass. If you're embarrassed to be an Eagles fan, go be a Giants fan.
Why are you embarrassed to be an Eagles fan? The Eagles are in the playoffs every year. Every year, January comes around, the Eagles have a game.
Bye.
Every single year.
Bye, Mike.
So, Mike,
of course, you've only won one. You've only won one championship in the last 60 years, but that's okay.
Okay, we have the most recent championship in the NFC East.
Big deal. That means nothing.
We have the most recent success in the NFC East. We're always there.
And when are the Eagles
Our
bad?
organization's well run.
Whatever.
Our organization's well run.
We
don't have to harp on the past. We don't have to harp on the 80s. We don't have to harp on the 90s.
And Michael Skelton, what exactly am I delusional about?
You're starting to sound like Steeler fans.
For 40 years ago. Who cares what happened 40 years ago? I care what happened.
For 40 years, the Steelers weren't even over 500.
I don't understand that. I don't understand what I'm delusional about. According to Michael and Brad.
And there's the touchdown for Tennessee.
How are we taking away the Giants' win against the Tennessee Titans? We came on the airwaves last week and said that was a good win for the Giants. We said Saquon Barkley was
You're
back.
minimizing. You're trying to make somehow your win is more impressive against the lowly Lions than our team was against a division winner. They still have Derrick Henry, who's still one of the top running backs in the NFL.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand how I'm a delusional Eagles fan when I have them pretty much the same prediction.
I think
about the NFC
the reason
East
he's calling you
Eagles
delusional
games.
is that you're overrating Detroit. I think that's what he's trying
But
to
we're
say.
not overrated. Like Brad, you haven't watched the Lions, obviously. Mike has not obviously watched the Lions. The Lions
watched
have
enough
been
of the
a
Lions
good
to
football
know
team
that they
over the
stink.
past 6 games. They have been a good football team over the past 6 games.
And Mr. Wing, how about stop worrying about the Giants stink and understand that you have won one Super Bowl in 60 years, one championship in 63
I don't
years. You've
understand
won one
I don't understand what that
championship.
has to do.
That
What
has
does that have
nothing
to
to
do
do.
with the?
Well,
what,
we
what
can
does that have to do
talk.
in
We can
2022?
talk all we want because we're not a disgrace to the NFL like the Eagles are. That's what we can talk about.
Why
you
are
want
we
to
a
start?
disgrace to
You
the
guys want to
NFL?
start? You guys want to start? Okay.
There's
I'll
like 5
start.
teams that have 0 championships.
Huh?
There's like 5 NFL teams that have never won any Super Bowls.
Well, that's pretty freaking bad too.
Yeah, and I'd rather be all 5 of those organizations than the Giants right now. If we want to
Really?
list the organizations that you're
So you'd
the
rather
Jaguar.
let's see.
No. The Jaguars are in a better
We have 8
situation.
world championships.
Who
You
cares?
have 4.
Who cares about what happened in 1935?
We don't care about what happened in 2017. That was a fluke.
Neither do
luck
we.
year.
But we're in a better
Carson
position
Wentz,
than you right
Carson
now.
Wentz sucks. He had one good year. He had one good lucky year, and that was
And
it.
Carson Wentz is on the Washington Redskins right now. So who
Right.
cares
And
about
you have
Carson right now?
And you have a quarterback with a noodle arm that's not and you're not going anywhere.
And he's better than your quarterback. And our coach
By
is
a
better
lot.
than your coach. And our
By a
organization
lot.
is better than
your
your
coach
organization.
is better than our coach. What has your coach done? He goes 9-8 against,
everybody's
against
saying
an
we
easy
went
schedule and
to
gets
a
murdered
playoff
in the
game last week.
playoffs.
We
You got
went to a
murdered in the
game
playoffs
year.
last week. Your team
Brian
was
Daboll
so
coached
bad in
2
the
games.
playoffs. Your opponent was laughing at you.
It's Tom
I mean,
Brady.
That's pathetic. They were laughing at Jalen Hurts. They were laughing at him because they knew exactly how to stop him. That's not good. That's not good.
I'd rather be the Jaguars who haven't won a Super Bowl. I'd rather be the Vikings who haven't won a Super Bowl, right? The Titans.
Vikings have been in it 4 times, and unfortunately,
yeah, I'd rather be the Vikings right now.
They lost against some of the greatest teams in the history of the NFL.
I don't think Tennessee has won a Super Bowl. I'd rather be them than the Giants right now. I'd rather be every other organization that has not won a Super Bowl right now than the Giants.
What, this season?
Yes, because that's the only thing that matters this season.
They've been down.
All I care
about
about is this season, is 2022.
Well, you're
I
not
don't even
winning
care
the
about
Super Bowl this year.
2017.
You're not winning the Super Bowl this year. As I said, if you were in the AFC,
for sure as hell.
I have the same prediction as you nut job. I have the Eagles winning the NFC East and them not winning a playoff
in the
game.
NFC East? There's no good teams in the NFC East.
More importantly was the second part. I
NFL.
don't have the Eagles winning a playoff game this year. But I'm delusional.
I didn't say
And I'm propping up the Lions because I like what I see, and they're an emerging football team. That makes me delusional, then I'm delusional.
They're not.
I have the same outlook
team.
on the Philadelphia Eagles as you do.
Let's see. Are the Detroit Lions? Excuse me. Are the Detroit Lions a playoff team?
I'm telling.
How
many times have I said it over the past 3 weeks? They're right there. They're going to be competing for the 7th seed.
I don't know who's
Are they
going to
make the
7th
playoffs?
seed.
They're going to be compete. Like if we want to do a
The
rundown
Giants
of the
will be
NFC,
competing
let's
for the
do it.
playoffs too. Until Thanksgiving. That's about
You
what
just said your next 4 games with your built-in excuses.
That's
Well,
why they
the
put the
4
fucking
games-
7.
the Giants' next 4 games.
You don't understand the league,
Tell you
Brad.
if there's
You
any
don't
hope.
understand the league. You don't understand the
I
parity of the
understand.
league.
I understand.
You don't
I
understand
the league.
anything
I understand
based on
the
this
league.
conversation.
No, I understand.
You
the
understand?
league
Do you
fine.
understand why the NFL put in a 7 seed?
Yeah, because they want to make more money with more playoff games, which is kind of embarrassing because now they've got they're putting garbage in the playoffs.
More importantly, Brad, they want more teams to be in contention in weeks 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17.
Right.
The league is designed so that every team has a chance at the 7 seed.
It's all about money, Rob. They make more money because the teams there are more teams that'll be in it at the end. I get that. But that's the only reason they did it. Okay? They are not interested in the product, which is going to be terrible because
it's not the Detroit Lions' fault that the NFL is a bunch of greed monger, money grubbing
there
assholes.
There shouldn't be more than 5 playoff teams. 5 playoff teams.
But there are.
Huh?
But there's
But there
7.
are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what we think.
6 to me was pushing it. 7 is ridiculous. I mean, why don't you just have the top 10 teams making it like the NBA and be a complete joke? Because that's where it's headed.
It's coming. It's coming.
It probably is. I mean, when does it stop? I mean, you're going to have teams under 500 making the playoffs.
If you want us to call the Lions a play-in team, then fine. They're a play-in team. But that doesn't excuse the fact that they're going to get 8 to 10 wins this year.
They're not getting 8 to 10.
They're going to be in that realm of 8 to 10 wins. And they're going to compete for the 7th seed, which is a playoff spot. Now, if you ask me, they might get they might be the 8th seed.
They might also.
They're for sure as hell going to have a better record than the Giants, because Daniel Jones is your quarterback and your wide receivers are injury prone. Your running back is injury prone, and the overall talent level on the Detroit Lions offense is way better than your Giants.
What wide receiver is injury prone other than Shepard? None of these guys played there last year.
Kadarius Toney, who's injured every other week, who is your wide receiver too.
He hasn't played
exactly because he's injury prone and he's your wide receiver 2.
Who's
small. Your wide receiver 3? Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay's injury prone ever since.
Galladay shouldn't be on the team.
Exactly.
Gettleman
ruined Kenny Galladay, who left the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions got better at the position. Right or wrong?
Listen, everybody gets better if they get rid of a guy like Galladay. Galladay was
good with the Lions.
Huh?
Yeah, Galladay was good with the Lions. That's why he got that money.
He got his money and he packed it in. He's a dog. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so he left the Detroit Lions, and the Detroit Lions got significantly better after letting go of a guy that got paid. Right?
Well, that's basically what happened with him.
And Michael, I don't understand where you're getting Detroit Lions Super Bowl champions. Where are you getting that from? Who said that? Did I say it? No. Did Jimmy say it? No. Did anyone hear A2D radio say it? No. They're going to be like a 7 to 10 seed in the NFC, and they're going to be in it. They're going to be way better than Michael, Skelton, or Brad is going to give them credit for. And my Super Bowl prediction was the Bills over the Niners. So on no planet do I have the Detroit Lions anywhere near the Super Bowl.
With Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback, that just might happen.
I mean, they're in the NFC Championship game every year with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's a shame that Trey Lance
Jimmy Garoppolo does is win playoff games.
I think Michael Skelton's a bot because he's obsessed with the Detroit Lions. It's obsessed. Like Mike, since you're so embarrassed to be an Eagles fan, do yourself a favor and go watch the Lions for the rest of the year. Maybe you'll have a realistic opinion on a solid football team. You guys got early leans? Let's get into early leans.
Yeah, let's do that. We're getting early out of time here. We're sneaking up on kickoff.
Early leans brought to you by eXp Realty. Looking to buy or sell a home? Looking for a change in career or brokerage? Contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. Make sure you guys also check out All Campus in Ocean City, New Jersey, 10th Street. On the boardwalk. We do live shows once a week there. I think we're going to start doing them Sundays for now on. Sunday right up to kickoff at 1 p.m. All Campus, giving 20% off of everything in the store to all of our subscribers, including hats and shirts. So make sure you check out John Coyle there at All Campus. Also, FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. You could put in your lineup for tonight's game, Eagles versus Vikings. They give you daily NFL contests and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use the promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. That is a $50 value at fanup.app. Also, why don't you order yourself a nice little takeout food meal for the game tonight at Gleason's Bar if you're around Levittown, PA. Gleason's Bar is located at 6700 Mill Creek Ave in Levittown, PA. Use the promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or order online.
Best cheesesteak in Bucks County, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
There. Bucks best.
All right, we could
use a place like that down here.
All right, let's do early leans.
There's no good cheesesteak spots down here.
Well, down here you have of course the White House sub shop, which is
Yeah, White House
legendary.
subs, Sacco subs, they're pretty solid.
Sacco unfortunately burned down.
The one in Absecon still around. I know the one.
Yeah,
near me
no, the
still
one in Ventnor burned down a couple of months
Oh,
ago.
man.
Unfortunately,
That's a shame.
we miss it. We
Yeah.
really miss it because you know what they deliver. White House does not deliver, and
Yeah.
to go there at night in that neighborhood is not exactly a fun thing to do.
Yeah. All right, we got early leans for next week. Let's maybe try and build up a nice little early parlay. I don't even know what the slate is coming up. All right, so Thursday night. You got it, or
I got it right here.
All right.
All these lines. It's the Steelers and the Browns on Thursday night. Really low total, 38.5. Browns are favored by 5 points.
I'll take the Steelers in the 5 and the over. I think one thing
agree
about
with
Thursday
Brad.
night, guys, especially early in the season, before these teams really are in mid-season form, I think that there's a tackling problem on Thursday night with the defenses, and I think that you get a little higher scoring games than normal. So I've always been a proponent of betting the over on Thursday nights, especially early in the season. So I would take the Steelers plus 5 and the over.
I second everything Brad just said.
Yeah, I agree.
Plus
5 over 38. Gotcha.
Getting to the Sunday 1:00 slate, the Kansas City Chiefs, the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs, traveling to Indianapolis. Chiefs are a 6.5 point road favorite. I see no reason why I should put any of my hard-earned money on the Indianapolis Colts. So I will take the Chiefs minus 6.5 all day here.
I can't disagree with you about that.
Brutal. I mean, to get shut out, like everything about the NFL today favors the offense. And for you to play 60 minutes of football and score no points is absolutely
against the Jaguars.
Atrociously embarrassing. Well, that's another team that I think is a lot better than people give them credit for. But
yeah, they're good. But you should be able to put points.
They might be. I mean, there's some talent on that team. I'd be interested in seeing again what they look like in, by the middle of the season, what their record is, and how
Trevor Lawrence is here to stay. That guy's a stud, and Doug Peterson is going to establish a culture there. Say what you want about Doug, and I've been critical of Doug. He is a leader of men and can build a culture down there. But the Colts, I can't put any money on the Colts right now.
Yeah,
they look pretty bad.
I got Chiefs minus 6.5.
Interesting game here in Foxborough. The Ravens, after blowing a 35-21 or 14 lead against the Dolphins, they're going to Foxborough. They're 3-point favorites on the road. I think this is a get-right game for the Ravens. I like the Ravens here.
I'm on board.
I think I stay away. I think 43.5 is light. I think that has the possibility to go over. I think
just because I tell you I like the Ravens minus 3 doesn't mean I'm actually going to bet them.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bet them. I mean, honestly, if you had a gun to my head, I would take Patriots in the points.
That's what this segment is, Jimmy. You got a gun to your head, and you got
I got Patriots plus 3.
Okay.
That's not a bad bet. It's never a bad bet to take a home team.
Home dog, always a good bet.
Yeah,
and like I
basically
said,
that could be two. That could definitely be two. The wrong team could be favored in that game.
And then, it's never dumb to take a home dog. Next game, the 0-2 AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals travel to MetLife to take on the Jets. The Bengals are a 5-point road favorite. I'm taking the Jets here. I don't think Cincinnati's playing good enough football to be favored by 5 points on the road against anybody.
Their offensive line looks terrible right now.
I'm gonna keep taking the Bengals until they actually hit. because I thought for sure they were going to beat the Cooper Rush last week by more than a touchdown, and I was severely wrong. But I'm just going to keep on.
lost.
I'm going to keep on doing it until they prove me right. I'm going to ride with the Bengals -5.
Flacco looks like a
Rejuvenated.
little spry there for a 40-year-old guy who's never been able to move in his life. And that Garrett Wilson, man, he's a player, and Brees Hall's a player.
Yeah.
It's a shame all their offensive linemen got hurt in preseason.
They also have a pretty good defense, the Jets. So we'll see.
Next game is the Lions travel to Minnesota.
Our second favorite team, Rob.
Yeah. Well, the Lions are going to the Super Bowl, so they're obviously going to beat the Vikings. It's a thick line. I mean, the Lions
In all seriousness,
Lions are getting
Lions plus
7.
Lions +7 in all seriousness.
That's a lot. I mean, Minnesota is going to be in a dogfight tonight. And it'll be a short week.
I also think you keep taking the over in any Lions game until it doesn't hit. I mean, over 53.
Well,
I think that's almost a lock.
I mean, the home team. When you're the home team after a Monday night game on the road, you're usually okay. It's when you're a visiting team. The following week on a Monday night, that's when usually the problems happen. The following Sunday. That's generally what happens.
Eagles traveling to Washington. Eagles are favored by 4 on the road.
They should be able to cover that.
I don't see it being a problem for the Eagles.
No. Although the only thing you got to wonder is, A, how much does that Washington team like Wentz? And B, you know, are they going to play for Wentz? What's going to happen in that game?
Carson Wentz stinks.
Is the moment going to be too let's forget about Carson for a sec. Let's just solely talk about the Eagles with this one. Like every other Philadelphia team, is the moment going to be too big for the Philadelphia team in general? And that's going to be the Eagles, because we saw it when Ben Simmons came back and he wasn't even playing. He was just solely on the bench, and we got our butts spanked by the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, it happens all the time with all of these teams. In a big time moment, we tend to fold and we tend to collapse. Is that going to happen next week?
See, I don't know. I think the egg's coming in week 4 against Jacksonville, in my opinion. I think the Eagles win tonight. I think they win next week. They're 3-0, and then Doug comes into the link and smacks us around a little bit, brings us back to earth a little bit.
Yeah. I just don't see us losing a home game against the Jaguars. I mean, we might lose a home game against a really good squad, but I don't think it's going to happen to the Jaguars.
I could argue that the Jaguars
I would agree with you. I agree with you there.
I mean, I could argue that the Jaguars have a better quarterback than the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a higher potential, a higher ceiling, some may say.
All right, here's a stinker in the next game. Houston traveling to Chicago. Bears are favored by 3.
I take the Bears.
I'm not betting on either of those teams at all.
Houston +3. Houston's looked good. Houston looked good in week 1. They looked good against Denver. I don't know if Denver just stinks, but Houston looked good.
Well, Denver has a coach problem because that Nathaniel Hackett is a complete goon. Well, this is what happens. They hired a coach from Green Bay to try and lure Aaron Rodgers to Denver. It didn't work, and now they're stuck with a bum head coach who doesn't know what he's doing at all. Did they even beat the Texans?
Yeah, 16-9.
So they did. They
Barely.
squeaked by.
Yeah,
they squeaked by, and now they're all hurt. Surtain's hurt and Judy's hurt. Saints travel to Carolina. Saints favored by 2.5 on the road.
I take Carolina in the points.
Good luck on that one. I like the Saints. Just more talent. Baker Mayfield's a clown.
He is, but you know what? With those teams playing, when those teams play each other, you know they're all pretty big rivals. I would go with the home team.
Yeah, I think Carolina might take this one this coming week.
Yeah, the Saints don't real. I mean, they gave Tampa Bay a good run for their money, but the Saints are not a big
Yeah,
time team anymore.
this might be a fallout game for the Saints. I'm with Brad on this one. I actually may consider Carolina money line in a little parlay.
I'm all
Yeah.
for it because the Eagles have that draft pick, which if the season ended today, the Eagles would have the 8th pick in the draft via the New Orleans Saints.
Let's manifest it.
Jaguars travel to Los Angeles, take on the Chargers. Jaguars getting 7. What's going on with Justin Herbert and his cracked ribs?
I might
I
jump
don't
on that
know.
7 because if Chase Daniel's starting, you might
I'm
you could go Jaguars money line if Chase Daniel's starting.
I'm surprised it's even on the board
You
until
gotta
they
see
get
who's
more
playing.
information on
You gotta
Herbert.
see who's. I wouldn't touch that game until I know who's quarterbacking. I mean,
So I'm not even gonna.
can Justin Herbert actually play? Can he play with a flak jacket?
These are all
if I were
questions that
them-
we're going to need to.
I wouldn't
If I
do
were
it if I
them-
were them.
If I were them, you're 10 days off rest for this game. You're at home against Jacksonville. You should have faith that you could beat Jacksonville at home and not risk your quarterback's future. I would give them the extra 7 days, and then
Yeah, I would
come
too.
week whatever, you have 17 days rest to
They also
somewhat heal that
Jacksonville
rib.
has a very physical defense. That would not be a smart play for them to play him.
Yeah, I agree. I go Jags plus 7.
Yeah, that's not
I kind of agree. Big one in the NFC: Green Bay visiting Tampa Bay. Obviously, Mike Evans is going to be suspended for a game for getting into yet another fight with Marquise Lattimore.
Do you guys
That's a
see that?
2.5 point line. Yeah, I saw
Well,
it.
they haven't suspended anybody yet.
Yeah, they suspended Mike Evans for 1 game.
Oh, they
He's
did.
appealing. He's appealing. Yes.
What about Lattimore?
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Mike Evans really escalated the whole situation. He should be suspended, in my opinion. Even though I have him on multiple fantasy teams, and it breaks my heart to say, but he should be suspended.
Well,
The over-under for that game.
You can't blame Evans for sticking up for Brady. I mean, that was unnecessary.
Brady started the whole thing.
Yeah, but
Brady's a
you
punk.
got to walk away from Brady. Brady's always
Brady's a
chirping.
punk.
Well,
Brady's
Marquise
always
Lattimore, and they used to have the double bubble with Gardner Johnson, who's on our team now, and Lattimore, the double trouble. They don't walk away from anything.
No, that's
So,
true.
Brady wants to instigate the whole thing. Cool. You're lucky. You're lucky. Fournette didn't get kicked out of that game as well because he threw a punch, and Evans because he's a multiple offender with Lattimore. Now he's without his best receiver against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, that could be a tough game for them.
I like the Packers. I think the Packers found themselves last night. I think they realized that they can't be an explosive offense. They got to run the football, be physical, and fill in the gaps and make just enough plays with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, they've got to make sure that they've got some good young athletes for wide receivers. What they really have to do is these guys just need some experience, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have to incorporate them in the offense. I mean, last night he was going strictly to Lazar for the most part and Cobb. I mean, he can't just go to them. He's got to get the young guys involved. I know they wanted to win the game, and I get all that, but that's going to be crucial for their development of that team. If they want to go to the playoffs and actually win a playoff game, they've got to get those young wide receivers involved.
And I like the Packers in this game. I think that they're more physical. I think Tampa Bay's offensive line is not good. And I think the Packers found something on Sunday Night Football. I think they win the game.
What do you guys think of the over-under in that game? It's at 41 right now. I think that's got to be an over, right? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I know both offenses
they both have
struggling
good
per se.
Stuff. They both have.
No, I like the under. I mean, Tampa hasn't really done anything offensively. They've been around 20 each, 19 and 20 respectively.
Well, they're also playing against real good defensive teams too.
The Packers put up 27 last night, but they ran the ball and they didn't score. They didn't do anything against a decently stout defense in Minnesota in week 1. And Tampa Bay's defense is for real. They're super physical and they hit you in the mouth. The only deficiency they have is their offensive line.
Yeah. I think I got Tampa Bay 2.5, and I think I got the over. I think all this talk about Tom Brady, how he's not the same, I think he's going to come up against the Packers, and I think he's going to have his – I think he's going to outdo Aaron Rodgers.
So we got a dual AFC West duel in the desert. A few games left here, and we'll get you to kick off. Tommy Arnone, Ryan Brodo, and DJ Eastwood that we do on the post-game show here at the conclusion of Monday Night Football. Rams going to Arizona. Rams favored by 4 against the Cardinals.
4, huh? I'd like to know which Cardinal team's going to show up.
Which Kyler Murray's going to show up? I have no idea. Nobody knows. Kyler Murray doesn't even know.
Yeah, that's true. I would have to go with the Rams. I think the
Rams. Rams.
Yeah, I would take the Rams.
By the way, is Cooper Kupp the best player in football right now? Because
certainly one of them.
Teams know that he's going to be the main focus, and he's still getting open, and he's still catching 10-plus balls a game, getting over 100 yards receiving, and scoring touchdowns like it's nothing. Is he the best player in football? I think
he's
he is.
One of them.
Listen, you can't. I mean, it's hard to say that when there are some quarterbacks around that are absolutely unbelievable too. But he's probably the best non-quarterback in football.
Yeah,
I would give you. It's hard to compare to a quarterback. You know that's the thing. I mean, it's not really fair. It's not fair to Kupp to compare him to a quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here's my early best bet of the week. Atlanta's going to Seattle. I love the Falcons here, getting 1.5. Seattle stinks. They absolutely stink. Atlanta's not great either, but Atlanta they show up in battle and they can score points.
Atlanta fights. They didn't give up against the Rams, and they tried to make it interesting at the end. I mean, they were down 28-3, and then they came back and made a game of it. So got to give them some big credit there.
I'll take Mariota over Geno Smith any day of the week.
Big time.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And Drake London looks like a player. Cordell Patterson's a player. They haven't gotten Kyle Pitts on track yet.
He hasn't been on track in 20 games. I'm still waiting for him to be the guy that everybody was telling him he was going to be.
I mean, he's a rookie last year. I mean,
yeah. I mean, how many rookies come in and just light up the league? Kyle Pitts is not doing that. Like, he was supposed to be this hybrid wide receiver guy.
How many tight ends get picked in the top 10 and stink?
I mean, what? Claypool was a tight end at Notre Dame, and he's made a name for himself in Pittsburgh.
He played outside.
I think there's a crazy stat with Kyle Pitts that he has not scored an NFL touchdown on American soil.
He only scores in the London games.
His only touchdown last year was in London. He has not scored a touchdown on American soil.
Let's load up on Kyle Pitts next week. He's going to get one on American soil against the Seahawks.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm putting that. I'll bet that. I'll bet that easy. That's my best bet of the week so far. Atlanta plus 1.5 against stinky Seattle. Primetime games. Niners going to Denver. I love the Niners here. Niners road favorites in Denver.
Wow.
Nathaniel Hackett's a loser, man. He can't outcoach Kyle Shanahan. No chance in hell. 0. So big lean on the Niners here. And Russell Wilson is just made, or does Russell Wilson look kind of average so far this year?
Russell Wilson looks like Geno Smith.
I think Russell Wilson just needs to get used to his players. I mean, the thing is, nowadays these guys don't play any games during the preseason. It's all the garbage players playing preseason. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah, and we don't know how long Judy's going to be out, and that's going to be a huge loss for him. I know throughout his career, he's made a lot of wide receivers, a lot of money, but he's not young Russ anymore. I mean, he got paid handsomely by Denver. We're $200 million guaranteed, I think. and he just has not been like even last year when he came back from his finger injury, he looked pretty good in the last month of the season. And this year, he just has not got it going with his team. Now, come October, maybe that'll switch. But until then, I don't think you can bet the Broncos. That's why you got to
when
lean
he
more
was with
towards the
Seattle,
49ers.
when he was with Seattle, he always got off to great starts.
Yeah, I mean, new team.
Is that, am I wrong about that? I seem to recall he's always got off to big starts in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he has. He has.
So
He just seemed very comfortable in Seattle. He just does not seem comfortable in Denver right now. So.
Yeah, it might take him. I mean, listen, it might take him a couple more weeks to get used to it. I mean, again, they don't play games anymore in preseason. Yeah. I don't think that helps. I don't think that that's a help to a lot of these quarterbacks, especially when they change teams. They need to play.
Not at all.
I know you're risking getting them hurt, but you know what? They still have to play.
Yeah.
More importantly than Judy being out, Patrick Surtain also left the game against the Texans as well. That's a way bigger loss than
loss. That's a big loss.
That's a way bigger loss than
another player touchdown prop next week. Then Brandon Ayuk finding the end zone with his old boy Jimmy G.
Is my boy George Kittle gonna suit up, or are we just gonna be IR and George Kittle all season in fantasy after I picked him in the 4th round in every league?
That's rough.
I should have known. Like, history repeats itself. Like, if you're an injury-prone player, you're going to get injured again. That's what George Kittle is. But he's so good when he's on the field. So maybe next week.
Next week. It's hard. It's hard. By the way, are you guys going to are your Phillies going to give us a little help here and knock off the Jays a couple of times and make our lives a little easier? Or are we going to have to earn it?
You're gonna have to earn it.
They'll split.
Last game, Brad, your Giants hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Big NFC matchup. Giants favored by 2.5 at home. Wow. I love Dallas here.
Well, what?
Giants are favored by 2.5 points. That's correct.
Yeah, Cooper Rush isn't going to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Probably not.
I'll go with Brad's Giants. Just because it's Cooper Rush.
Well, I mean,
if it was Dak, I wouldn't think we'd have a shot. But
if it was Dak, Dallas would be favored.
Yeah, no question, no question. The thing is, with the Giants, as a Giant fan, and I'm very happy they're 2-0. But you have to be in the back of your mind. You have to be a little skeptic about the whole thing with the Giants right now. I mean, you're just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Just because it's been such a tough go the last 4 years.
Well, Brad, we've been doing shows for a while here. We've been talking about the Giants' offensive line and them not being up to snuff for years now.
Well, I think the offensive line is a little better now.
I agree with that so far.
I do think it's a little.
You're playing a ferocious Dallas front next week.
I know that. I know
that. Threw the Bengals around like ragdolls. They went to the Super
my
Bowl
problem.
last year.
My problem with the Giants is that I just the receivers. I mean, can James actually play like this a whole season?
He's better than Kenny Golladay.
Well, Rob, you and I could do better than Kenny Golladay. I mean, we could go out there and get no targets and no receptions just like him. For a lot less money. So
my early lean, I got Giants. We got any last thoughts, or can we bridge this along to kick off?
I'll see it when I believe it. I've been very negative about the Giants the entire preseason, and I'll bet. I think the Cowboys are going to find a way to beat them. I just don't see the Giants doing it 3 weeks in a row. Are they really going to do that?
We shall see. Once the buzz comes around the New York team, it stays around.
I mean, we're not talking about the Yankees here. We're talking about the Giants. Okay.
I've seen a lot of buzz come around the Giants when they won football games.
The Giants might be good. Like you said, we don't know
yet. Maybe. What as I said, the next 4 weeks, they're gonna have themselves Green Bay, the Ravens. I think they have to go to Chicago, and they got Dallas. So they have those 4 teams, and there's no easy games There's no easy teams for the Giants. We're not talking about the Eagles having this schedule, okay? We're talking about the Giants having this schedule. None of
We
those
have the
games are
same
going to be
schedule.
easy for them, huh?
We have the same schedule.
I'm not. No, I'm saying it may be that may be an easy schedule for the Eagles, okay?
Okay,
But it's
okay.
not an
Yeah, I hear
easy
you.
schedule for the Giants. There are no automatic wins right now for the
Yeah.
Giants. Okay, and you can't let that you can't be fooled by the 2-0 record. Okay, they're still not scoring a lot of points, as Rob said, and it's true. Daniel Jones hasn't thrown the ball more than 10 yards down the field. You know, they're basically he's getting a lot of yards after the catch by throwing the ball to Saquon Barkley, which is always a good idea, by the way. And we'll see. I'm worried about Sterling Shepard, who's made of glass, getting injured. You know, I mean, he never seems to stay healthy. I mean, Dallas is one of the most physical teams in the league, and I'm worried Daniel Jones might get hurt in that game. You know, I mean, Daniel Jones got hurt last year against the Cowboys, and we never saw him again. Well, no, we saw one more week against the Eagles, and then we never saw him again.
All right, they're getting ready to kick the ball. Let's get out of
All right.
here.
Early
Let's get
Leans
this
is
win.
brought to you by SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Dr. Paul Bidal, 2 locations. Make sure you check him out. That's SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. And the show, Sports Sounds, exclusively here on A2D Radio, always brought to you by Araya Public Adjusting. If you have damage or home to your property, we may be able to help. Don't fight your homeowner's insurance alone. Contact Araya Public Adjusting at 813-564-3364. Gentlemen, it's been fun. Hopefully we see an Eagles win, and hopefully we see 2 Eagles wins, because next time we see you, Eagles will have 2 more games under their belt, and we will be here to talk about it. Make sure you check Tommy and Ryan and the boys as they come on right after us. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and just comment throughout all of our shows. We have shows every day, every week, so check us out. Everybody have a great night. Go Birds.